Oh, hi again, everybody. My name is Greg Anderson, and this is the Good Timekeeping Show with Greg Anderson. I want to show you one of the more unique clocks I have, a unique moon phase clock that I have. You've probably seen a bunch of clocks that feature a moon phase, maybe a digital clock, or even there are watches that feature a moon phase. I've got a nice mechanical clock, old style, chiming mantle clock with a moon phase on it. Grandfather clocks, you've seen them all over the place. This one a little bit different because it has this somewhat 3D sculpture of the moon. I wouldn't necessarily call this a novelty clock because it doesn't cost, it's not quite as cheap as a novelty clock. This one, actually, I bought this in the late 1990s, so more than 20 years ago as I'm making this recording. And just for the fun of it, I looked it up recently, and you can still get this on Amazon here in the year 2020 for about $100. And looking back, I can't remember that I paid quite that much, but I might have paid close to that same price back over 20 years ago for this. And so for that price, you would have expected it perhaps to be a little bit larger than this. So you can see how big that is, compared to my hand. Not that large. And also, back then, I didn't have the internet to, I just saw one picture of this in a catalog, and I kind of assumed that this rendering of the moon was kind of a 3D, sticks out like a full sphere. And as you can see, the moon there is flat. The back of the moon on this representation is, kind of a sphere. And as this rotates around to simulate the phases of the moon, if you were simulating a new moon, then yeah, you get the full sphere. But any other phases of the moon, it's going to open that up. And that's the kind of representation you're going to see. So, some people are going to say, hey, it's cheap plastic. It's like a toy. I don't think it should cost $99. But, here I've had it for more than 20 years. And I would say, it's okay. I think for having it that long, it's probably worth about $5 a year to have something that has lasted so well. So let me just give you the finer points of this. As you can see, it displays the phases of the moon. And so it advances. There's kind of a dial here with 29 and a half days and little notches between the days. So about every half a day, this will just advance. Oops. Or you can, if you push this button here, it releases it, and that would allow you to set it to whatever the actual moon phase is, and then you just let go. And then every half day, it'll keep advancing. And just goes around and around and around. I've left this thing running for many, many months without even thinking about, changing a battery or adjusting the time or anything. It just goes and goes and goes. And it's kind of fun to have that just, always showing you the phase of the moon. People don't seem to pay as much attention to the phase of the moon these days as they might have in generations past. If we're planning to do something at night, you don't necessarily look at the calendar and go, well, I don't know, will there be a full moon on the night of that event that I'm planning? Or you just don't even care about it for a lot of people. But it's just kind of nice if you're paying a little bit of attention to this, just to know, there's a full moon coming up. And if you go out just after sundown and see the full moon coming up over the horizon to the east, that's always kind of fun. So anyway, all right. It looks like on the front here just a standard quartz clock. It's got the hour and minute hand, and then for the second hand, just this little black dot, black circle with a white dot on it. So that's kind of neat that instead of a traditional second hand, it's got that almost looks like some sort of astronomical object floating through the night sky on that little circle. So that's fun. As you can see, the hands are exposed here. So it would be easy for you to try to adjust the hands by just grabbing it with your finger and pushing it to wherever you want it to be. But don't do that, because that would kind of mess up the coordination between this and the moon phase. And also there's a little calendar representation on this as well. So if you fiddle with this with your fingers, not a good idea. So I would recommend just use the regular kind of, quartz, standard quartz movement there. Just turn this dial here whenever you want to adjust the time. And, just pretty standard stuff. And I'll show you how that works here. As I as I turn this dial, I'm advancing the time. Easy enough to do without touching this with your fingers. So here just below the time readout, there's a little window there with a date readout that you can see. And you can adjust that backward or forward by using a little gear there that you can just turn with your finger. And it's easy enough to turn that. And as you do, again, all that does is change the date in this readout, which it looks like it shows you the name of the month, maybe in English and, what is that, French, perhaps as well. Yeah, so I'm going to turn this back because the actual date today is the 13th of August. So I'm actually going to turn that back to the 12th of August. And then I will advance the hands accordingly to set this. And also, if you notice up here, this is where you've got that scale for the phase of the moon. And if you look at it, the way this works is the new moon, when that happens, it's kind of 0 on the scale. Look, I've made a shadow here with my lights here, kind of 0. And the full moon in the middle of the lunar cycle would be, what is that? Oh, just shy of 15 days. So it's easy enough to look up tables on the internet and figure out exactly when the full moon is happening or when the new moon is happening, and then just kind of count the days forward or backward. And then you just, again, push this little button here to release this, dial it in exactly to where it should be, and then let it go. And then that's just going to run normally from that point onward. So then, even though this is a regular analog clock that doesn't indicate AM or PM, it actually is interacting with this calendar and with this up here. So you'll want to make sure that you advance the time using this little knob in here in order to make it advance at the correct hour. You know, either this being representation of, say, 12 AM or 12 PM. So let me just quickly whip this around. It's a little bit awkward to do this on camera, so this is the kind of thing you don't want to do all that often, and I don't do it all that often. Like I say, I can leave this thing for months and months and months and never even worry about what time it's showing. So in this case, I just passed the 12 noon marker, and I'm going to keep going until I get around to the 12 PM marker, so bear with me. And when I do this, when I pass the midnight marker, what this should do then is, I just heard a little click right there. And what that was it advanced the date here. So now this is indeed showing today's date as it properly should. And now it's actually the evening as I'm recording this. I'm going to have to go all the way around again. Go past the 12 noon marker. And the actual time right now is about 9:35 p.m. And there, I think I've set it. Now I need to figure out what is the actual phase of the moon so I can make sure I get that one just exactly right. And I think we're just on day 24 or day 24 and a half. So I find that here on the scale. And there I'm showing now how that lines up a little marker right there. And now I'm done. And now I have just set the clock. So congratulations to me. And that's great. You know, if you're looking at it straight on, if I go outside, actually the moon's not up yet, but when it does come up, or if I see it first thing in the morning, it's going to have that shape just like that. And it's fun to see it on here and then go out and see it in the sky. So there you go, Galilea. This has something to do with a French company that puts this out. So you know, maybe that's the premium price you're paying if you're going to pay $99 for this, is for, you know, whatever French sculptor might have actually, you know, designed this thing. But here, I'll put the cover back on, and we'll be ready to go and enjoy our little bit of a lunar observatory right there on your tabletop or mantle. All right, so that's all for now. I hope you will join me again soon, because I do plan to make more episodes of The Good Timekeeping Show.